Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Naruto was the pilot of Ishimura's starship in dead space. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Chapter 1. A 5-year-old Naruto is sitting in a prison cell for defending himself from a group of kids at the orphanage. Now, normally that would be okay, since they did provoke him, but the way he defended himself was a bit brutal. They were all playing, excluding Naruto, when one of them decided to go mess with Naruto. Of course, the other kids had to follow. The ending result was unexpected. Flashback. A group of older kids who looked to be 7 or 8 years old was playing with some toys, like usually. Everyone else, including the overseers, were gone playing outside for a while. They were still inside for punishment for bad behavior. Then one of them saw a lonely Naruto, just humming his nursery rhyme while staring off into space. He then beckoned his friends to look at Naruto, to which a mischievous smile appeared across their faces. It was 3 of them and 1 of him. So what did they have to worry about? Besides, they were bigger and the overseers wouldn't care. They ignored Naruto completely. So they went over and asked, "Hey, what you doing?" Naruto looked up and came from out of his daze to see the kids staring at him strangely, almost crazy-like. They had wide-opened eyes with their veins showing on their temples. The hands were cringed in a way that was like an animal getting ready to strike. They had looks of pure rage on their faces. In reality, however, they just had smirks on their faces with their arms crossed. Naruto was scared a little and replied, "And nothing. Just minding my own business." "Oh, are you? Well, you're distracting us." "Well, sorry. Sorry isn't good enough." They then began to beat him up and tease him. In Naruto's mind, however, they were trying to kill him. They were clawing at him, ripping his clothes, and were laughing like maniacs. Naruto was crying and pleading for them to stop. But then he heard a voice in his head say, "They're trying to kill you. You mustn't let them kill you." It said slowly and it had a mysterious echo to it. Naruto was wondering where the voice was coming from. But he was more concerned with surviving. So with all his strength he could muster, he kicked one of them off of him and the other 2 went to check on him, not noticing Naruto get up. "Are you okay?" "Huh? How'd you get kicked by a?" He was interrupted when he felt a sharp pain in his neck. Naruto was on his back with his legs wrapped around him, biting into his neck. He had punctured his skin with his 2 canine-like teeth and was biting as hard as he can. The boy was screaming his ass off. His 2 friends saw this and ran to help, but Naruto jumped off of him and grabbed a bed sheet from his bed. One of the boys charged him, but Naruto tangled him up by spreading a sheet and jumped over him with surprising height, seeing how small he was. Naruto then kicked him, causing him to lose balance from the sheet and fall to the ground. Naruto then came behind him and pulled the sheet back tight where his head was so he couldn't. He was struggling for air and was about to pass out when one of his buddies came and tackled Naruto to the floor and pinned him down. Naruto was thrashing around with a crazed look in his eyes, and he spit in the boy's face, making him get up and whip his face. Naruto took advantage of that and tripped him and the boy fell to the ground on his back. Naruto then pounced on him and started choking him with the strength someone his age should have. The boy's eyes were almost popping out of his head and he was trying to fight off Naruto, but to no avail. He then passed out from lack of oxygen. Naruto got off of him and went to the boy who was gasping for air. Naruto then grabbed him from behind in a headlock and snapped his neck. He fell to the ground with a thud. "Good. Kill them all. Death is the answer. You must help death." Naruto no. Dead his head and went to the passed out boy and grabbed his throat. With a powerful grip, he yanked it out, blood spraying everywhere. Naruto had blood all over himself, his pupils and a yellow ring around it with a red dot in the middle. He had a crazed look in his eyes as he looked at his finale target. He was backed into a corner, too scared to run or yell for help. He was still holding his neck from the bleeding. He looked up with a frightened expression and pleaded, "PP, please don't kill me. Please." In Naruto's mind, it looked as if the boy was getting ready to attack. Naruto lunged at him and began to mercilessly beat him until he was barely alive. He then grabbed his head and began to bash his head into the wall until his skull broke with a sickening crush. After he was finished, Naruto just sat down on his bed and began to sing. Twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. When the blazing sun is gone, when the nothing shines upon. Then you show your little light, twinkle twinkle all the night. Then the traveler in the dark thanks you for your little spark. He could not see which way to go, if you did not twinkle so. When the blazing sun is gone, when the nothing shines upon. Though I know not what you are, twinkle twinkle little star. End flashback. The third was definitely have a hard time with this. How was going to get Naruto out of the situation? The council will surely call for his blood. The only chance may have is to find out why Naruto did it. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this probably didn't make that much sense, but it will when I explain how Naruto got the symptoms of the marker. Review please. Chapter 2. Well, I didn't really expect such positive reviews, honestly. I thought most of them would be like trying to point of the illogicalness of Chapter 1, but I was wrong. Enjoy. In Naruto's Mindscape, the Kyuubi was puzzled by the events that transpired. How is there another presence in Naruto's mind, other than her own? What is it? How was she unable to sense it? Wait, she still doesn't sense its presence. How is that possible? Question upon question was invading Kyuubi's mind as it tried to wrap her head around the matter at hand. Although, what it made Naruto do was pretty impressive. She had to admit, she liked watching the show, if only she was a part of it. No, I have to focus on the matter at hand. What was it that made Naruto snap? It was a hallucination, that's for sure. What caused Naruto to hallucinate that? Is he insane? Maybe there isn't another presence. Maybe he did just snap and killed them. But for a 5-year-old, there has to be some kind of explanation, and I intend to find out what it is. The real world. Naruto was sitting in his prison cell when he heard the voice. You must kill. You can't escape it. Death is our friend. We must help it. Death is our true friend. Naruto then began to cry. Just leave me alone. I didn't want to kill them. You made me. Naruto screamed, alerting the guards. Leave alone. Get out of my head. The guards ran to the cell, only to see Naruto by himself. You all right, kid? One of the two guards asked. Don't fight it. We just want to help you. We just want you to help us, said the voice. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Naruto screamed and then began to beat the back of his head against the wall he was sitting on. The guards were shocked and immediately opened the cell and grabbed Naruto's arms and legs. He was thrashing around when they threw him on the bed. They strapped him doing with a strap going across his torso, legs, and head. Please, I didn't want to kill, but I had to. They made me. Screamed Naruto as he tried to get free. Go get the Hokage and report to him what's going on, said a guard. The other guard nodded and teleported to the Hokage's office. They want our bodies. I saw it in my dreams. Please kill me. Just freaking kill me, he screamed. A few minutes the third Hokage appeared with the guard, wearing a puzzled and somewhat scared face. What happened here? We don't know. He just started freaking out. He bashed his head against the wall, which is why he's bleeding. What? And didn't tell me. I could have brought a medic. We wasn't thinking, sir. I'll go get the medic, replied the frantic guard. He teleported out of there and the Hokage began to speak to Naruto. Naruto, what's wrong? Can you hear me? Make it stop. I can't take it. Please just kill me. We will make you happy. Can't you see it, Naruto? We will bring new life. Suddenly Naruto saw a bright light flash across his eyes. Flashback. Naruto was seeing memories that weren't even his. He was looking through the eyes of a member of an extraction team of Aegis 7. It's coming, man. It's calling us, said his partner. Egan, quiet. Listen, said his other partner. He heard someone talking. Thinking there was someone trapped, he says. Someone's trapped down there. You two go on ahead. I'll meet you in the tether room. Go, he said and ran in the direction he heard the voice. The other two began to head towards their destination. It's death, Sam. Can't you see it? It needs our help, said the one known as Egan. Egan, what are you talking about? Get a grip, said the one known as Sam, whose eyes Naruto was seeing through. But, Zachenko, we killed him, said Egan. Sam turned around and said, I know, but you saw what happened back there. It's like it wasn't really him. They began walking when Egan saw something. We should get that plasma cutter too. Look at us, this is all wrong. Sam grabbed it and they began to climb a ladder. Sam made it up, but as Egan was climbing he dropped his rivet gun. Sam heard breathing behind him and just in time, turned around to see a crazed person attack him. She grabbed him and was trying to tear at him, but Sam kicked her off and shot her. Sam turned around to see Egan get up from climbing. He then got this lost look on his face and said, needs us too, to make it whole. Quit babbling. Let's just hurry up and fix the tethers. Look, there's more of them, Egan pointed out as more of the crazed workers came at them. Sam shot them with his plasma cutter. Suddenly Egan said, you don't understand, it's not right. We have to end it. And then Sam saw a bright flash of light before Egan pushed him to the ground. Egan, stop, what are you doing? Egan then started standing like the crazed workers and said, you can't stop it, you can't fight it. With a scream he leapt at Sam, trying to kill him. Sam then kicked him off and said in a frantic voice, Egan, don't make me shoot you. Egan, please. Egan cheered it again, but this time Sam shot him and he fell to the ground. Sam looked at Egan's body and said in a sad voice, I'm sorry, Egan. End flashback. A medic arrived and instructed them to hold Naruto's arm. They did, and she injected a sedative in his system, putting him to sleep. She then began to check his head, which was badly injured. Normally it would have healed by now, but something must be wrong. We must get him to an emergency room, now. This could be critical. The third instructed the guards to rush him to the hospital. He then just sat on the bed Naruto was laying on as tears ran down his eyes. He had failed. Naruto had finally snapped under the treatment of the villagers. He failed to protect Naruto and for him to be seen as a hero. Little did he know, this isn't Kyuubi's doing. This is the doing of an artifact that has plagued the Uzumaki family for years. Soon I will explain what's going on with Naruto and why this is happening. I put up a poll on whether Naruto should somehow make the weapons like the plasma cutter and others from the Dead Space series on not. Review please. Chapter 3. This one took long because I'm trying to do longer chapters. Enjoy. Death is the answer. Marker talking. Who are you? Kyuubi talking. Just leave me alone. Normal talk. Naruto was in an isolated room where the walls were practically cushion. His wrists were strapped down to a bed, along with his legs. His head wasn't strapped down because they assumed he couldn't do any damage to himself with his head free. The back of his head was bandaged up, meaning they must have already performed surgery on him. He was awake, only barely. He didn't want to have the nightmares again, about the monsters and killing people. You must not fight it. We only want to help. We know of your sadness, we only want to relieve you of the pain. Said mysterious voice. Join us. We will kill all and create a new race of more powerful beings under your rule. Said a new more evil voice. This voice sounded like a more evil and darker version of the previous voice. This one startled Naruto, since he was just getting used to the other voice. This voice was filled with malice intent. Naruto was scared. Who are you? And the other one? Naruto said in a worried way. I have no name. I was created to stop the other being residing in you. The hive mind, said a confused Naruto. That is what the humans had called me. I am the reason the monsters you see in your dreams exist. I control them. At least, I once controlled them. I am the one who has been plaguing you with the nightmares. I was trying to make you commit suicide, not wanting the hive mind to contact you and bring about the necromorphs once again. I was just sacrificing you for the greater good. Why not just warn me about him and tell me not to listen to him, instead of trying to kill me? And why is it that you are speaking clearly now? To answer your first question, I knew you wouldn't have listened seeing how much you hate your village. The second question, It is because it was my first time contacting you, so I had to speak slowly. Now I can talk clearly. Now boy, I will offer you a deal. Be my portal, so I may use you to bring back a more superior breed of life than you humans into this world. Do it, and you will have total control of the necromorphs. You will be able to do whatever you want in with the entire world as your servants. You can even allow some humans to live. You can kill all those who have mistreated you for no reason. You can. Wait, interrupted Naruto. Do you know why the people of Konoha treated me like crap for no reason? Said a now curious Naruto. Yes, yes. Both of the spirits replied. Naruto's eyes got wide at this. Finally, he can now know why he has been hated for so long. What is it? What is it? What is it? Naruto said quickly and excitedly. Just close your eyes and let us show you, said Marker. Naruto did as he was told and he immediately fell unconscious. In Naruto's mindscape, Naruto woke up to find himself at a place he couldn't explain. It had strong winds and he could barely see. All he saw were rocks that were a reddish color, along with the ground. Nothing was anywhere. It was just a barren wasteland. It was then Naruto realized where he was. Aegis 7, he said in shock. He was on Aegis 7, the planet he saw from his dreams. This is where everything started. The necromorphs, the suicides, the murders, everything. Suddenly a look of realization came across Naruto's face as he saw a particular rock. It had ancient scripture written all over it that was glowing red. The rock was predominantly black, but it had red lines going across it. It was about 20 to 25 feet high and it was about 6 to 7 feet in width. It was carved in a way that it looked like a scorpion claw. The marker, he said, stunned at the sight. Yes, the bane of my existence, said a demonic voice. Naruto turned around and saw something that would make Madara shit himself. There, standing in all its glory, the hive mind. That thing is impossible to describe. What the hell is that? Naruto shouted in fear. It's the all-powerful, the horrible, the mighty, the hive mind. And you are in here to see where I reside in your mind. As you can see, the marker is here too. The only reason I haven't destroyed it yet and made you my vessel is because I can't harm it or even get close to it, for that matter. Naruto, even though this is only your mind, you will be able to summon your necromorphs from here. The reason being is you will have to see you. Chi yourself and the blood that falls to the ground will morph into a necromorph of your choosing. It is like the summoning jutsu that your ninjas use, however this doesn't require chakra. First, however, you will need to make them by sending out the infectors. Once they have infected the body of the dead, that body will transform into a necromorph. It is your choice of whether you want to keep them here or just leave them there with you. The most reasonable choice will be to bring them here, as to not bring about unwanted attention. The only way to create a necromorph is with my and hive mind's permission. The reason being is because I can prevent you from making them, but I can't do anything once they are created. It is up to you and hive mind on what to do with them. And since I already the hive mind will always allow you to create them, I have to set boundaries. You can't turn the innocent who have died into necromorphs, only the wicked and evil. What? But that defeats the purpose of total control of the humans. They do not deserve such a fate. Besides, look at the boy's life. There are plenty of wicked in this village. It's like an infinite supply. I suppose I see what you mean. Naruto, there are different types of necromorphs and each has their own abolites. A slasher is not a natural organism, but rather a mutated host. Successful creation of a slasher requires a somewhat intact corpse and an infection medium to infect the host. During the infection process, the host's physical attributes undergo radical changes to suit the needs of the slasher, such as the development of elongated arms, biological blades, and other appendages. Slashers can still effectively locate prey even without their heads, although they are more prone to flailing at anything in their path. Be it a human survivor or another necromorph. Lurkers attack using 3 spiked tentacles that grow out of their backs, firing small, barbed projectiles at range. As such, they are used as ranged support for other necromorph forms and only engage in melee, using their tentacles as stabbing weapons, as a last resort or to surprise. They are able to climb walls and stick to ceilings using suck Tian cup-like appendages that are grown out of their stomachs. They are commonly sighted either in small groups or with other larger necromorphs. The enhanced lurker has the same body structure as a lurker but is entirely black. Far more resistant to damage and fires more lethal barbs. The brute is one of the strongest necromorph forms you would encounter. It is a combination of multiple corpses fused together into one large being. It is large, hardy, and, like all necromorphs, extremely violent towards the uninfected. The brute possesses an armored exoskeleton on its anterior body for defense. But its posterior is relatively weak and devoid of defense. It also possesses a pair of vestigial arms on its back. The brute attacks with a devastating punch and a headbutt that can easily knock a grown man off his feet. The brute is quick for its size. When attacked in its weak spots, the brute will contract within its armored plates to protect itself. This can be used as an advantage, for the back of the creature is still exposed and ripe for being blasted. The brute also has an enhanced form. It appears black, and is much stronger. In appearance, infectors look like headless bats made from dead human material. The strange winged infector acts as the fastest vector for the contagion, only attacking or defending itself when it cannot find any hosts to infect. Apparently created from human torsos and arms. Its wings are formed by a flap of skin flayed away from the flanks and chest and then fused between the former host's twisted arms. The head appears to either be missing or consumed, and the pelvis is the new head of the creature, with the spine providing support and attachment points for articulation movement. All non-essential musculature, fat, and organs have been removed. Owing to its bony appearance along the back, this biomass is likely used to produce the infectious agent the creature administers with its proboscis. This limb, made from mutated bone, muscle, and spinal tissue is the delivery mechanism used to infect potential hosts. This is done by enveloping the host in its wings, extending the proboscis from the spinal cavity, and then stabbing it into the skull to inject a yellow fluid stored in an internal bladder. In any room with the remains of crew members, these are the beasts that should be taken down quickly before you get overrun with newly created necromorphs. They seem to have a preference for corpses which have existing head wounds, possibly because this spares them having to crack the skull themselves. Enhanced forms of infectors will make enhanced necromorphs, and regular infectors will make regular necromorphs. Exploders are one whole human that has been radically twisted. Their presence can be easily detected by the strange gibberish sounds they make when they are within vicinity. The left arm has transformed into the glowing, explosive pustule, and the right arm has elongated to be more like a leg. The legs fuse together to form an awkward leg-like limb, and the head seems to be almost split in half. The exploder walks in an unbalanced way on its pustule, fused legs, and elongated right arm. Once an exploder is within close range, it will swing its pustule right into its target, or the ground, if it misses. Anything caught in the blast radius, including the exploder itself, will be blown apart. Due to their idle attack and relatively slow movement, they often attack in large groups in an attempt to overwhelm their target. However, this tactic also makes them dangerous to any necromorphs nearby, including other exploders. Exploders are one of the most efficient necromorphs, with the ability to kill multiple people at the same time. A member of the pack has a less mutated body than most other necromorphs, having only mutilations of its abdomen, hands and face, but retaining its human form. The skin over its face seems to have been pulled away, leaving only the jaw protruding out below eyes that are fused shut. They are armed with 3 claw-like digits on each hand, the remains of the child's fingers. There is a large gash over the lower torso and abdomen of the necromorph that leads down to long, thin legs. Its body is also more pale than the fleshy coloring of other necromorphs. The bones of the creature's shoulders have been pushed out of the back, shown by small fleshy protrusions behind their shoulders. The pack attacks by overwhelming its prey with numbers and force. When a member of the pack catches sight of prey, it would call out its members to engage the prey from various directions. Its form of attack is similar to that of the slasher. The pack would hack and slash its prey using its claws repeatedly and strike down its prey using its jaws. Crawlers are reanimated babies like the lurker. A crawler's skin is the same pasty gray as the pack's. The torso of the body is grossly enlarged with an organic explosive under its skin. The limbs are twisted backwards so it can move with the sac pointed upwards. The back legs of the body are fused together, giving the crawler an almost caterpillar-like style of movement. The crawler is basically a combination of the lurker's mobility and the exploder's lethality. Leapers are necromorphs that are really fast and can leap at great heights, with also a great distance. However, this speed comes at a price. They are about as weak, if not a little more so, as a slasher, which means that it doesn't take much to bring one down. Although if not quickly handled, they will be a problem due to their quick strikes and fast attacks. There are also cases where they will be alone. On other very rare occasions, they will group together with slashers. During the transformation into a leaper, the victim's head splits along the jawline, and jointed fang-like appendages are forced out of the corpse's throat to serve as teeth. The intestines and legs merge together to form a powerful tail, ending with a broad blade made out of bone. Leapers also have an enhanced form. As like all necromorphs, enhanced leapers are completely black and also have the enhanced slashers, glowing eyes. They are much tougher than normal leapers. The Y are also capable of doing more damage than a normal leaper, so keep your distance. Like standard slashers, spitters have large, bladed arms protruding from their shoulders and their original human arms are intact on their sides holding their chest open. All spitters are female. Some have a large mutated jaw, similar to a leaper, which they can extend when in close combat. Another variant has lumps on its head, however. Its upper torso and much of the face seem to retain a human look to them. Their most prominent and deadliest feature is their ability to spit high-speed acidic bile at their opponent. If one is close enough you will be able to see their enlarged lungs. Stalkers bear long, horny claws ending in dangerous tips. While not efficient at slashing, they can still impale, knock down, and rend. The ribcage is spread wide open, though with most necromorphs, there is a lack of any digestive organs, and only vestigial remains of previously vital organs. Well-maintained musculature, in the limbs and back lead to a reinforced spinal column and neck capped by the creature's most distinguishing feature. The skull is largely exposed, sporting a thick skull cap covered in bony protrusions to aid in crushing and bashing. The upper jaw and nasal cavities are left largely intact, while the cranial dome is squashed down to provide a more even, durable striking surface, which is further supported by the cheekbones. Unlike many necromorphs, this highly mutated skull is the hardest point on the creature, but also the point of an instantly fatal dismemberment. Arguably the most intelligent and opportunistic necromorphs. Stalkers work in groups to distract and flank their prey. They will run around, hide, and peek behind cover, trying to lure their target into exposed areas. When they attack, they charge towards their prey while emitting a high-pitched screech with their limbs tucked behind them for protection and/or for streamlining. Stalker pack members will take turns in attacking him when they feel their target has let his guard down, then flee before he has a chance to strike back. They specialize in mind games and hide-and-seek tactics. They are also quite resilient. While charging, their skulls and torsos are able to absorb dozens of pulse rounds without disrupting their attack, even on normal difficulty. They are redoubtable foes, and in large numbers are paired with exploders, arguably the most severe threat you could ever hope to encounter. They also have an enhanced form that has double the power, speed, and health of its original counterpart. A divider is a tall, thin necromorph that is strong and tough. Once slain, the head, arms and legs separate and become independent creatures known as components or divider spawn. The divider subsections are very fast and will damage an attempt to strangle you, but they are much weaker than the original divider. Dividers tend to be loners, but you'll occasionally encounter a pair, or a single divider backed up by exploders. Its components, when separated, are strong when they are attacking but are weak and can't take much damage. The puker's body keeps the general shape of its human host, however, its legs are twisted into a single one and intestines and nerves grow from the creature's side to form a second leg. Its fingers combine into 3 long claws on each hand. Its eyes are nothing but holes. Its jaw melted and fused with its neck, freezing its face in a hollow, blank stare. On its torso, its lungs are clearly visible and yellow, storing a limited quantity of bile to be used at a moment's notice. Much like how the infector carries its infectious sludge, What remains of the flesh on the puker's body is hanging loosely around its body. The creature's constant messy expulsion of caustic fluids has melted away its facial features and the skin and muscle tissue of its torso, revealing its intestines. The puker has 4 forms of attacks. The first is shooting a ball of the bile over a long distance which burns and prevents those who are hit by it from running. The puker's second attack is a projected stream of corrosive bile toward its prey at a medium to close range. The third is the common slash using its disfigured claws, and the fourth is a grapple attack in which the puker grabs its target by the head and arm before vomiting on his neck and mouth in order to remove his head. The puker also sports a unique defense mechanism whereby their severed appendages spurt similarly corrosive fluid upon dismemberment. Swarmers are tiny necromorphs that appear to be composed only of reanimated bits of flesh that attack in large numbers and attempt to latch onto their target and overwhelm him. These little critters can overwhelm you easily. They are a minor threat, but if 6 or 7 get on you they will drain your health quickly. Swarmers often reside inside pregnants and only come out when the stomach is ruptured, but are also encountered from time to time in independent swarms. Pregnants are one of the larger breeds of necromorphs encountered. They are named as such due to the enormous sac that extrudes from their abdomens, the contents of which are other, smaller forms of necromorphs which burst forth when the sac is damaged. Pregnants have also been known to, when heavily damaged, claw open their own abdominal sacs in order to release their initially host swarmers, but pregnants carry deadlier payloads of creatures including lurkers and their enhanced versions, along with small creatures composed of miscellaneous body parts identical to those that come from dividers. In addition to the ability to spawn other necromorphs, pregnants possess large, biological scythes that are attached to each arm, which are used to slash and rend an opponent in the same manner as slashers. Their weight hinders their speed so they aren't as fast as slashers, but they can move at a brisk enough pace to outwalk a person when they are determined. Pregnants, unlike most necromorphs, do not commonly travel in packs. However, they do prefer the company of other necromorphs and, unlike the lurkers, they can really cause havoc when they have slashers or other necromorph forms accompanying them. If an attacker is unwary, they could rupture the pregnant with a crowd-clearing weapon by accident and make things even worse for themselves. However, if handled calmly and precisely, they won't be too great a threat. And now, we must show you why the village hates you. The world around Naruto started to fade until there was nothing but darkness. Naruto was looking around, confused. Then Naruto found himself in a sewer with cracks in the wall. Once you became aware, he started walking, not knowing really where he was going. As he continued, he found himself in front of a GI ant cage with the word seal labeled on it. That's when 2 tails lashed out and grabbed Naruto. They pulled him into the cage and face to face with the angry-looking female. "How did you get here, boy?" she demanded. I don't know," he said. "You don't know. One moment you're talking to yourself in your bed at the hospital, the next you are here. And you don't know how you got here," she said suspiciously. Naruto nodded his head yes. She knew he was lying, but he couldn't have been. She was watching him the whole time. "Who are you?" Naruto questioned. Kyuubi pondered on whether she should tell him or not. He might not be ready. Kyuubi then thought, screw it, and said, "I am the most powerful demon in existence, whose very name drive fear into the hearts of millions. I am the Kyuubi no Kitsune," she said, grabbing him by the shirt and bringing him to eye level. She expected him to have a look of fear or shock on his face, but all that appeared was a look of confusion. "But you're dead," he said blankly. Kyuubi just sighed and put him down. "I was sealed in you by the 4th Hokage into you on the night of your birth. I am the reason your entire village hates you and wants you dead." Now she knew she was going to have a reaction this time. Maybe one of anger and hate directed toward her. Or of pain and sorrow. But, once again, he surprised her and gave no reaction. He just had an look on his face. Like she just told him his shoe was untied. This confused her greatly. What? That's it. No anger, rage, sadness, sorrow. Nothing, she said, obviously puzzled. "Well, after all I've seen and been through today, this isn't that much news to me as I know it should be. At least now I know I can do it without remorse, knowing they hate me for a stupid reason that I have no control over," he said. Do what? Kyubi questioned. I'm gonna start reforming a dead race that will help me and do my bidding anytime I want. What are you talking about? Asked Kyubi. Have a sit, this will be a long story. A.N. Holy fucking shit. Longest chapter I ever wrote. Took a shitload of time, too. Since I gave you all this long chapter, please review it. And as for the poll, for those who want the weapons, you're gonna have to give me reasons as to why I should put them in. I already have some as to why I shouldn't, but none on why I should. So can you guys please review? Chapter 4. A.N. I just love the positive responses I'm receiving. It just makes me want to write more. And Dark Vizard 447 gave me the idea of making the hive mind the boss summoning of the Necromorphs. Now I know anyone could have thought of that, but it just never occurred to me to do that. So thanks. Anyway, I still don't see that explanation on why I should allow the weapons of Dead Space to appear in this story. I'm thinking of not adding the weapons, simply because no one can give a reason why I should. Last thing, if you check the last chapter, you notice that I added some other Necromorphs have been added, and I gave a more detailed explanation of some of the ones already there. And for the record, I won't add any boss Necromorphs, the only boss that will be added is obviously Hive Mind. Enjoy. Kyubi was bombshell shocked. After all the years of being trapped within Kushina Uzumaki and Mito Uzumaki, she had never known of their curses. How she had not known is completely beyond her. However, she saw the logic in hiding that fact. She reasoned that if they thought she found out, then she would have tried to devise some kind of scheme with the two spiritual beings. However, one other question still puzzled her. Naruto, said Kyubi. What? Replied Naruto. Did you acquire the knowledge on how they found their way into minds of your ancestors? How did they arrive all the way from Aegis 7 to this form of Earth? Well, as a matter of fact, I don't know. I'll go ask them, Naruto said as he began to walk out of the cage. That won't be necessary, said the marker. In a flash, Naruto and Kyubi found themselves back on Aegis 7 with the red marker and the hive mind, which freaked the hell out of Kyubi. Sure, she was a mighty demon, but this thing was out of this world, literally. Was scared? Not the slightest. She was just creeped out and freaked out. What the hell? That thing is as huge as me in my demon form, said a surprised Kyubi. Yes, I am a sight indeed. The master of thousands of that should have been in control of millions. But that man, grr, the very thought of him annoys me to no end. Who? Asked Naruto. I'll answer that, seeing as Hive Mind hates to even mention him. The man's name is Isaac Clarke. He is the man that brought down the Hive Mind, and the man who had vanquished the Necromorph threat from his dimension. We will come back to that as soon as I explain everything that caused us to be thrown into this world. During the Necromorph outbreak, someone by the name of Alyssa Vincent had sent out a distress call, to which an engineer team had answered. Thinking that something on the Ishimura needed to be repaired. Shortly after their arrival, a slasher attacked them, killing 2 of their teammates. The only ones Sue R. Viving left were Isaac and his crewmates, Zach Hammond and Kendra Daniels. They assigned Isaac to do numerous tasks, until Hammond had died by a brute. Later, as Isaac had faced the Hive Mind, after it had killed Kendra when she tried to escape with the marker to take to the church. Azace defeated him, but not before the Hive Mind had grabbed him and created a bond with him, as I did. He then fort as the large landmass he was on crashed into Aegis 7, destroying it and the marker, which I had possessed at the time. As he was escaping, Isaac's deceased girlfriend had made it aboard his escape ship as a necromorph and attacked him. He had fought and killed her, but during the fight he had hit a hyperspeed device that had malfunctioned when he hit it. It created a black hole that sucked high into your dimension and he crash-landed on your planet. As he awoke from unconsciousness, he immediately activated the self-destruct sequence, not wanting to take the chance that any infectors were on board. He then opened the door and ran as far away as he could from the explosion. It wasn't enough, however, as the blast had caught up to him and knocked him unconscious again. He awoke and found himself sitting in a prison cell tied up to a chair. He still had his engineering suit on, as the inhabitants of this planet didn't know how to take it off. It was then that his interrogator had come to question him. Isaac told them everything they needed to know. The Ishimura incident, the Necromorphs, the marker, the hive mind, everything. What interested them most was what Isaac was wearing. Why wanted a suit like his so they could be the most powerful village of their time. Unfortunately for them, they didn't have the resources to replicate the suit. They did, however, find a way to duplicate his stasis and kinesis. They studied stasis and kinesis and created seals that could do exactly what the originals did. They didn't have any problem with the kinesis seal, it only took away, at most, only 1% of their chakra each time they used it. They did encounter a problem with the stasis seal, though. No matter what they did, every time they used the stasis, it would take exactly 1/3 of their chakra. So they classified it as a forbidden seal and its rank was S rank. The only people that could use it were the Uzumaki clan, since Isaac had married Katana Uzumaki, mother of Kushina Uzumaki. After they declared him safe enough to walk among them, they did have to place a seal on him that ceased the talking of both the hive mind and the marker. They also began to notice that the Uzumaki family had begun to suffer symptoms of dementia shortly after the marriage of Isaac and Katana. So after every Uzumaki had the same seal on them as Isaac had, it became tradition for every Uzumaki to have the seal placed upon them when born. Isaac had become a special ninja of Uzushiogakure. With help from his engineering suit, he would go on C to B rank missions. They knew he would most likely be killed on S rank missions. They would rarely give him an A ranked, only when they were sure it was within his capabilities. The only reason he even got A rank missions is because he had found a way to create weapons that were somewhat like his old weapons. He was still an engineer, after all. He had asked his family, the Uzumakis, to make some sort of seal on his suit so it could stay functional. It still needed to be charged. So some of the ninja with the affinity for lighting would first restore full power to his suit, and then place power into the seal that stored chakra in case his suit is ever low on power. When fully restored, the suit can stay functional for up to 2 weeks. So with it being restored and the seal, it can be functional for up to a month. He had also asked if they could add another seal so he could use the chakra stored in that seal for use of his weapons. They agreed and made the seal. With all that, the Uzumakis decided to make another seal so when his rig detects he is dead, it will self-destruct so no enemy ninja gets their hand on it. The only weapons he remade were the plasma cutter, the pulse rifle, and the line gun. He also made a melee SCYTHE that was attached to his right arm on his wrist, in case he needed it for close combat. The only reason they didn't put self-destruct seals on his weapons is because it was specifically designed to work only for the suit. So now Isaac had a total of 4 seals on his suit, excluding the one holding back the hive mind and he wanted to be a ninja so he wouldn't be useless to his new family. He knew he was too old to use jutsu, but he could still use the sealing scrolls. He would seal his weapons into those scrolls so it was easier to carry. He would only use his suit when he was going on missions. He had made a name for himself, earning the name Metal Ninja from his appearance. The seal he used for use weapons had required the use of 2 or more ninja. They would transfer their chakra into the seal until it had the chakra capacity of a grown Uzumaki, which was a lot of chakra. He didn't create his weapons to look exactly like the originals, he just made them to satisfy his requirements. They looked less advanced, but luckily he didn't need to repeatedly resupply his ammo, seeing as all he needed was chakra. Naruto, this man was your grandfather, explained the marker. Naruto had an amazed look on his face. Upon hearing the history of this man, he then had a shocked look on his face as he found out this was his grandfather. That look quickly turned into joy as he found that his grandfather was such a badass. Kyuubi, however, was unimpressed. The hive mind noticed this. What's with the boring look on your face, demon? Oh, nothing, it just that all of that was boring to me. That's when the hive mind thought of something. Well then, how about I let you have a look of how it was on the Ishimura? Then we shall see if he impresses you. Hive mind didn't really care, but he wanted the person that defeated him to be respected by all, even a powerful demon such as Kyuubi. Fine, do whatever you want. I've seen the worst of humankind, so I bet this will be nothing. Hive mind only chuckled as he telepathically began showing her Isaac's experience on the Ishimura. 2 days later in the Mindscape, it was only 2 hours later in the real world. The Kyuubi had just finished reliving the memories of Isaac Clarke and was impressed, very impressed. She witnessed everything Isaac had experienced, and her respect for the man had certainly risen. She knew that most mortals would have surely committed suicide. Even she would have been a little frightened if she had been in that situation. Of course she would have to be stripped of her powers for her to be even a little scared. For a mortal to impress a demon of her caliber was no small feat. She knew that even the Jonin or Anbu of this time would have trouble surviving the incident or would have died by the Necromorphs or suicide. There was something that she couldn't get off of her mind, though. What was that creature that was incredibly fast? Its head looked as if it was twitching. She recall Naruto describing that one to me. All the others I recognized. What are you talking? Oh, the Twitcher. Yes, they are one of my favorites. I however can't create them again. Let me explain. The Twitchers are the result of the Necromorph infection contaminating the corpses of people who were equipped with stasis modules, such as soldiers or security personnel. They are physically similar to slashers. A disturbing side effect of the transformation is that the stasis modules the security personnel were equipped with became fused with the resulting creature, and the effect of the stasis module is strangely reversed. With terrifying results. Because of the stasis module merged into their bodies, Twitchers can react and move several times faster than any other Necromorph variant, making them very hard to hit before they close into melee range. It also causes them to have highly erratic and spastic movements, and their features seem to blur as they move when seen close up. Due to their incredible speed, they are very capable of dodging fast projectile weapons. They also make distinctive jabbering noises when they get close. Their name is derived from their constant twitching and spasmodic behavior. Their design is similar to that of a slasher, however, this is hard to notice due to their speed. Their heads, legs and bodies retain a vaguely human form, albeit much chunkier and muscular than slashers. They lack the small chest appendages of the slashers, but their talons are much larger. Their heads have a massive, hollowed-out indentation on the top of the skull, and tiny tentacles fill the gap. They also seem to be missing both their eyes. Furthermore, their faces seem to be almost static. They never change their facial expression, which is fixed in a blank and hollow stare. So as much as I would love to have them among us, I can't. They can only be made by fusing with the stasis modules. Kyuubi then sat in thought, trying to figure out a way to bring them back. She was completely fascinated with their when it hit her. How about we just use the seals that the Uzumakis had created, the stasis seals? I already thought about that, but Naruto doesn't know anything about seals. Well, we'll just have to wait until we find someone who can teach him about seals. Wait, exclaimed Naruto. What? Asked both Kyuubi and Hive Mind. If you guys know who my mom was, then who was my father? Asked Naruto, hoping for answers. Well, your father was Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage of your village. Now that shocked Naruto. His father was the Yellow Flash. His mother was the Red Death, and his grandfather was the Metal Ninja. Then that means he has the best genes in ninja history. He came from a badass clan, he had a badass grandfather. And now he had badass parents. How could his life get any better? Naruto was happier than when he first went to Ichiraku's. He was the happiest kid in the world right now, Neve. Mind the fact that he sealed a demon into his own son. Naruto didn't care about that at all. But then he realized something. If my father was the 4th Hokage, then he must have had some ties with the 3rd Hokage. So he must have known that I was his son. But then why would he keep it from me? We don't have time to dwell on that. It is time for you to awaken, Naruto. You must never mention to him our existence. The fact that you have Kyuubi sealed within you, or the fact that you know who your parents are. You must act as if those illusions I put on you were real. Say you kept having nightmares of killing people. You must tell them that voices made you kill and that you thought they were trying to kill you. They will have no choice but to place you in a mental institute, so you won't go to prison. And I'll make sure to this plan works. And with that, Naruto disappeared from his mindscape and woke up on the hospital bed. Well, I wanted this chapter to explain how had got the I've mined and the marker trapped inside him in the first place. Like I said before, I won't add the weapons unless I get an explanation. I knew that some of you were going to think that because of Isaac. But remember, Naruto doesn't have the rig suit. That means he can't use the weapons. Review please. Chapter 5. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have not beaten Dead Space 2 yet, but I'm on Chapter 6. I didn't know until some time through the game that Isaac and Nolan had somehow built the marker on Titan Station. That will become a great use in the story. If there is something else you think hold know about from Dead Space 2 that could be used in this story, feel free to tell me. Enjoy. The third walked into the hospital room where Naruto was resting. He had a sad look on his face. The NSUL were going to have what they wanted for a long time, to have Naruto either executed or prison. Neither of the two choices would help Naruto, much less benefit Konoha. He and Danzo were two sides of the same coin on the matter of how Naruto should be brought about. Danzo wanted to turn Naruto into an emotionless weapon that would serve Konoha. Hiruzen wanted to allow Naruto to grow up normally, to have friends to make bonds with so he could have something to protect in Konoha. Both of them knew the value of Naruto as a shinobi for the village. How he wished the villagers would have listened to the Minato's wish of being a hero. Or this could have been avoided. There must be something he could do. How are you feeling, Naruto? Asked the third. My head still hurts, but I'm okay. Naruto replied. Naruto, what made you do what you did to those boys? I know that they attacked you, but I never would have thought you would have killed anyone, much less children your own age. I don't know. Naruto started to tear up. I just kept having this nightmares of doing very bad things to people. It was so scary, I couldn't control myself. And they were trying to kill me, old man. You have to believe me. Almost yelled Naruto. Why were they trying to kill you? Do you know? The third knew that they obviously weren't trying to kill him. He wanted to hear Naruto's side of the story. YBE there was something he could do for him. They said they wanted me to help, make them whole again. They had claws and scary faces and they had crazy eyes. I was so scared. Now this intrigued Hiruzen. From the report he read, they looked perfectly normal. What did their faces look like, Naruto? In the Mindscape. Wow, the kid sure knows how to act. Said an impressed Kyuubi. This only made the hive mind chuckle. What's so funny? Did you really think we could trust Naruto with the information he had just received? I had the red marker here take the memory of ever meeting us and store it somewhere for when we deem it right to reveal. We can't risk being found out. Hell, the only reason the marker cares is because he knows that the humans might try to use the boy as a gateway for the Necromorphs. They may try to use my power for their own purposes, and both Marker and I cannot allow that to happen. We will make sure that everyone thinks he is insane so nothing can be suspected. Funny, never would have thought you two would agree on something. It is a necessary agreement. We cannot let the humans gain control of the Necromorphs for their own power-hungry deeds. The world would be thrown into chaos if that were to happen. At least with Naruto all of the Necromorphs will be under one ruler. Just imagine what would happen if a village infiltrated Konoha's defenses and got a hold of how to make and control the Necromorphs. The entire world would be at war, gathering the bodies of the grave to use for their armies of Necromorphs. The war would last forever until the entire human race is wiped off the planet, leaving only the Necromorph HPS, who would eventually turn on each other and kill each other because there was no one controlling them like the hive mind. Then the world will become like Aegis 7, a barren wasteland. I see what you mean. War is in the very nature of humans, just as animals who fight for dominance or territory. In the outside world, I don't know. Naruto trailed of when he saw something that scared him. Hiruzen had taken out a kunai and suddenly stood up. Gramps, said a scared Naruto. I'm sorry Naruto, but you have to make us whole. He then proceeded to walk toward Naruto in a dangerous way. Naruto was stone cold shocked. He was going to be killed by the only person who ever cared to him. Naruto then started screaming, trying to break the bonds that held him down. Stay back. Just leave me alone. I don't want to die. He shouted. He started to cry in fear. Hiruzen was surprised by the sudden outburst and said in worry, Naruto, what's wrong? Tell me, Naruto, what's wrong? What do you see? He immediately called for a nurse to check on him to see. What's wrong? Don't fight it, Naruto. Just accept it. He then took out a kunai and started cutting Naruto in the face, making him scream even more. Naruto broke free from both his bonds and started to claw at his own face, drawing blood. Hiruzen grabbed Naruto's hands and held him down to prevent him from hurting himself even more. A nurse came in and gave Naruto a sedative at 500 cc's. Shockingly, Naruto was still awake, thrashing around like crazy. She then gave him a stronger dose, which worked this time. Naruto had calmed down and fall into unconsciousness. Hiruzen was in total shock at what just happened. Just then a Dr. W. Octina looked at the Hokage with a sorrow on his face. Do you care to explain to me what the hell just happened with Naruto? I'm sure that nightmares doesn't drive someone, let alone a child, to murder someone. Demanded the Hokage. From what I have seen from Naruto and the test that I have done, I believe he is suffering from a serious case of dementia. He seemed to hallucinate monsters attacking him. As detailed in the report when they found him. He must have thought you were trying to attack, which is why he became fearful of you. So what does this mean for Naruto? What is his mental condition? He was hoping the man was going to say what he thought his condition was. It was Naruto's only hope. Well, based on my experience as a doctor, I'd diagnose Naruto to be mentally ill. We can't just assume that just with my opinion. I have to talk to other doctors, and if I am correct, he will be immediately placed in a mental institute for help, if it is possible. From what I see, Naruto was not himself when he killed those boys, Hokage. He is sick and needs help. There is still a chance that we can help him, explained the doctor. Hiruzen had a look of relief on his face. He was hoping for this outcome. Now Naruto can get the help he needs, rather than be executed or be put in prison. Okay, when can he be transferred? First thing tomorrow, Hokage-sama. He nodded and looked at Naruto, who was still unconscious, and walked off to his office, hoping there is still a chance to save Naruto. In the Mindscape. Good. Everything's going according as planned. Well, this is going to suck. Being around crazy people until you guys think it's right to give him his memory back. For you it will be uneventful, but for me, ha ha ha. I may just have some more disciples. What do you mean? He means that Naruto could have a chance at gaining allies from this place. I will use their conditions to my advantage. He will need allies, but we could be wrong. Their PR. Probably isn't anyone worthy enough at an asylum anyway. We'll just wait and see. The next day, Naruto woke up to find himself in a straitjacket. He in small room that only had a bed, sink, and toilet. He was confused as to why he was here, but then he remembered when the old man tried to kill him. He instantly teared up and wondered why he would do that. He wondered why he was here. He wondered why he was wearing this thing that made him unable to move his arms. He was sad at the thought that the person he trusted most tried to kill him. How could he do something like? He just heard something behind him. He turned around only to see nothing. He turned back around to see himself. He was wearing exactly what Naruto was wearing, except his straitjacket wasn't bonding him. He had a smirk on his face. Naruto was shocked and scared out of his mind. The Naruto in front of him then ran at him. Naruto screamed and closed his eyes while bracing himself for the incoming attack, but nothing happened. When he opened his eyes, nothing was there. It was like he just disappeared. Naruto then laid on his bed and began to cry. Meanwhile, in a monitoring room, the Hokage was stricken with grief. He knew that Naruto was ill, but not to this extent. He knew what dementia was, but he just couldn't believe that this was happening to Naruto, his grandson. A single tear ran down his eye as he watched Naruto cry. I just hope we could save him. Insane or not, I still see him as my grandson, thought the Hokage. In the Mindscape. Don't you think you are taking it a little too far? He's just a kid, asked Kyuubi to the marker. It is a necessary step to ensure our power doesn't fall into the wrong hands. And hive mind, I thought about what I said about the innocent. I think I have found a solution to your problem. Oh my, I'm flattered. The All Might marker wants to help me. What could have brought about this change? Questioned the hive mind. I realize now that no one is truly innocent. But not everyone is wicked either. So I will let you turn all bodies of the dead into your subjects. You can kill whomever you want, I don't care. The only people you can't turn once they are dead are the ones who I have affected. Those who are under my influence are Naruto's allies. Nor can you kill them, since I knew you were thinking that. Nor can turn them when they are alive, in case you try that. Deal. Deal. Why would you even ask that? Of course I accept. I knew you would. Now to the matter at hand. Do you think we should recruit some followers from this asylum? First we must see what they have to offer. Wait. I think I have an idea. When Naruto finally turns someone into a necromorph, they will come here, right? With my chakra, I could give them some intelligence. Hell, they may even start a civilization here. That would be a sight to see. Yes, that would be amusing. I can't wait to rebuild my race of superior beings. I just thought of something. Why not we create our own village? Or overthrow a village when Naruto is old enough? We could have some parts of the village specifically for humans, and some parts specifically for necromorphs. And if we can, other parts for both humans and necromorphs. I'm sure you can control them to prevent them from killing the humans, hive mind. Why do we need to do that? All we have to do is go to the graves and turn them into necromorphs. Before you know it, we have an entire army of beings to fight for us. Nothing could stop us. Hive mind, you underestimate the ninjas of this day and age. If the humans in our dimension could easily figure out how to kill them, what makes you think the ninja will not? Before you even know it, the one that hostess is dead. We must first plan, then when the time is ripe, we executed that plan. One thing is for sure is that we can't kill all the humans, some must live to command the necromorphs. We must first take it slow, then soon the world will be united under both necromorphs and humans. Before we even think of doing that, however, we must gather enough necromorphs to begin that plan. When I did it was easy and quick. When you did it they weren't ninjas. We have to plan it slow. Or we don't do it at all. Make your choice. Fine. Good. It must suck to be trapped with your nemesis, this statement for the both of you. Huh, and I thought being trapped inside this mortal would be boring. Looks like I've been proven wrong by a long shot. Well, that's chapter 5. I hope you guys like the chapter. Every time someone is hallucinating, it will appear in italic format. If you were confused when Hiruzen was attacking Naruto, review please. Chapter 6. I could have updated sooner, but my mouse had just suddenly went out on me. And as of today, which is the 21st 3:35 a.m., the mouse I currently got is a bitch. A friend gave it to me and I have to get used to its ways of torture of not working correctly. Well, enjoy. -2 years later. Naruto had been in the asylum for 2 years now. And it wasn't as bad as Naruto had expected. He had befriended one of the patients who was leaving this week. His name was Neji Hyuga and he was there over the depression of his father's death. Now this wasn't any normal depression like crying or not eating. It was a dangerous depression that led him to cut himself and go on days without eating. It wasn't until he was 6, a year after the death of his father, that Hiashi had took notice of this and had him placed into the asylum, not knowing what else to do. During that time he had befriended Naruto and He promised to meet up see each other again if one was to leave before the other. Naruto had also helped him get over the death of his father, but he was still angry at the main branch for what they did to his father. Naruto agreed with him on that one, not liking the fact that Neji's father was taken away from him in the place of another man. Naruto was now talking with Neji about the fact that he was getting out on tomorrow. Neji's condition had gotten to the point where he was deemed healthy enough to function in normal society. They were in a lounge, if you want to call it that, for the ONES that weren't a danger to themselves or others, that often anyway. Well Neji, it would seem that fate has taken a liking to you and had given you access to the outside world, said Naruto. Being around Neji had also helped Naruto work his vocabulary. Even at young ages the Hyuga were taught to talk properly. It would seem that way, Naruto. I'm sure it's going to be less comfortable without a friend to be here with you. If it wasn't for you, I probably would still be unhealthy. If only I could help you with your condition. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure I'll be out of her before you know it. Hell, the only reason I'm still in here is because I keep on seeing things. I don't why. Even if I faked at not seeing them, most of them would be too scary to just ignore. Man, I wonder what's wrong with me. Whatever it is, I'm sure you'll find a way. The only two reasons I could think of to want to stay here is being your friend and being away from the Hyuga. Speaking of my family, I wonder how Hinata and Hanabi are doing. I do hope that they aren't like the rest of the Hyuga, arrogance the size of Kyuubi and the cold attitude. I'm almost positive that I would have been the same way if I wasn't here. I guess that's another thing fate has done for me. I guess you're right. So are you going to join the academy? Yes, I will work my hardest to prove to the main house that we of the branch house are the same. My only goal is to abolish the caged bird seal that is placed on me in branch house somehow. Only then will I truly be happy. The chances of that becoming a reality are slim to none. It would take a clan head to have the power to do such a thing. Neji said with a grim face. I'm sure your time will come, Neji. I don't know whose fate is worse, me being hated by the entire village for a reason I don't even know about, or you, being forced to live your life as a servant to your own family. Sometimes fate just isn't fair. Soon, Naruto, both of us will have our chance. I'm sure of it. That's when people wearing white had walked into the room. Okay people, it's nap time. This nice people with me will escort you to your rooms. They then began to walk towards the patients and escort them to their rooms. Naruto was having an extremely hard time not freaking out right now. As one of them was walking towards him to put him in his room, Naruto was seeing something different. The man had the needle in his hand and had an insane smile on his face that creeped out Naruto to no end. Naruto closed his eyes and shook his head hard to make it go away. When he opened his eyes the man was right in front of him. He said, "Come on Uzumaki, it's okay, no one's going to hurt you." The man had a needle in his hand, just in case Naruto freaked out again. It wouldn't be the first time. Naruto was shaking as he nodded his head. He was trying to control the urge to kick the man in the jewels since hitting him anywhere else wouldn't be as effective. He as only 7 years old, so his strength wasn't going to cause any harm to the grown man. The man then placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. That did it. With a shout Naruto kicked the man in his balls, nut jewels and ran from the man, who was now on the ground holding his junk. Naruto was screaming as he ran from the men in white. It wasn't long before one of them tackled Naruto and injected him with Naruto's favorite medicine he knew all too well, a sedative. Naruto slowly stopped struggling and fell into unconsciousness. Neji could only shake his head at Naruto before walking to his room, wishing Naruto the best of luck. -1 month later. It had been an entire month since Neji had left and Naruto was feeling lonely. He didn't have anyone to talk to since most of people here were too crazy to talk to, or some still had sense enough to see him as a demon. Naruto was in the asylum lounge right now. That's when he noticed a new person there. Every time someone new came in the lounge Naruto would try to befriend them, but he was always turned down, either because of them thinking he was a demon, or they were just batshit crazy. Naruto always tried and didn't give up. That's how he became friends with Neji. So he walked up to the person and said hey. She looked down at him and smiled. Hey there little one. What are you doing in here? She questioned. Aren't you a bit young? A normal person would say I'm crazy or insane, but I don't really know if I am. He replied. What are you doing in here? I don't know actually. I can't remember anything at all. All I know is At the people said my name was Makoto Uchiha. What's your name? Naruto Uzumaki. So you don't remember anything? Anything at all? He asked. Nope, not a thing. All I know is my name. Well, it appears you are suffering from amnesia. I hope you get your memory back, miss. Oh please, you can call me Makoto. It makes me feel old. That brings up the question, how old am I? Well, I'll find out from the people I guess. Do you have any other friends, Naruto? I did have this one friend, but he left a month ago. I'm kinda lonely here, he said sadly. Makoto felt sorry for him. How about I be your friend? That's fine, right? She asked. Naruto's face changed to a look of surprise then happiness. Really? Oh, that'll be great. Thank you. We're going to have a fun time in here. Well, about as much fun as you could have at a asylum, he said sheepishly. Makoto giggled at the boy, glad she could help him with his loneliness. -10 months later. Months after being in the asylum, Makoto, during that time, had slowly begun to regain her memory. She had finally remembered how she had gotten in the asylum. Her husband, Fugaku Uchiha, had used his Sharingan to wipe her memories. She opposed the plan for the Uchiha to overthrow the Hokage and take control of Konoha. Fugaku didn't like that, so he wiped her memories. When she had fully regained her memories, she was angered at what he had done to her. But then realized that the plan must have failed. She reasoned that because that was the year the plan was supposed to commence. She was glad it had failed, but she wondered what happened. She didn't sense any jutsus being used or any evacuation for something like civil war. She could only guess what had happened, and she couldn't wait to find out. During her time in the asylum, she realized Naruto wasn't like the other patients. He seemed sane and yet insane. He didn't talk to himself and he wasn't violent. What had shocked her were his episodes. He would out of nowhere attack someone, or he would start screaming at no one in particular. The doctors appeared to be used to this, and they would already have his needle ready for him. She still cared for him, but she was just on edge around him, not knowing if he was ever going to attack her. Lately, however, she had noticed that everyone were acting a little strange. By everyone she meant everyone. The doctors, the patients, even her. It appeared everyone was having nightmares or seeing visions of things, and they were all on edge. She saw people talking to themselves and freaking out about it. She even saw visions of her dead mother. If only she knew what this would all lead to. In Naruto's Mindscape. So, is it time for the conversion already, Marker? Asked the hive mind. Yes. While that is going on, we will activate Naruto's memory so he could summon the infectors, allowing them to take the bodies. Once a necromorph is created, it will only attack the others, not Naruto and Makoto. Of course you will have to make sure of that. Hive mind. Do you want me to send some of the infectors out in the village? No, that would be unwise. I choose now to start the process because it will seem as if it was some kind of attack or poisonous gas that turned everyone crazy. At least Naruto will have someone to protect him during the chaos. You mean that woman? Yes, I have scanned her mind. With her shinobi training, she should be able to survive and protect Naruto at the same time. I choose to collect the bodies now for the necromorphs because I have discovered that they intend to seal Naruto's memories. They want to place him in the academy, but not with his mental state being what it currently is. So what? Can't you just stop the dementia? I could, but that would seem too suspicious. And I don't believe in taking risk. I hope that the Makoto woman will take him in and talk them out of sealing his memories, which is my plan. If that fails, we can only hope that Naruto gains his memories back soon. How exactly did you discover that plan, anyway? When the Hokage comes here to visit Naruto, I would always scan his mind. Someone has interacted with Naruto, I go through their memories. But I need a new marker to reside in. I need a vessel to reside in to truly be able to have the power I had on Aegis 7. Naruto needs to create a new marker, and until then, I could only go through their memories when they are within a certain distance. The only time I will tell you anything I have discovered is when it directly interferes with Naruto. If they seal his memories, at least when he regains them, Naruto will have a few necromorphs in here waiting to create new necromorphs. Oh, how I can't wait. Finally the superior race will once again walk amongst the land. Ha ha. This will be entertaining. In reality, Naruto and Makoto were talking when someone had suddenly burst into the room with a needle. It was one of the people that worked there. Everyone thought he just came to check on them, so they didn't mind. What they didn't predict would happen is what he did with the needle. He charged at a random patient and began to stab him repeatedly in face. Everyone looked on in horror at what was happening until someone else screamed out loud and attacked someone. It didn't take too long before everyone was trying to kill someone, excluding Naruto and Makoto. Makoto grabbed Naruto's hand and ran through the door. All around them were screams of horror and fear. She even saw some people kill themselves. As they were running, someone had grabbed Makoto and pushed her to the ground. It was a man, and he got top of her and was trying to choke her out. Naruto saw this and jumped his back and bit down on his neck. He yelled, but he didn't seem to care as he was still choking Makoto. Naruto then brought his hand to the man's eyes and began to claw at them. It worked and man got off Makoto and began spinning around trying to shake Naruto off him. He then reached behind himself and grabbed Naruto by the shirt. With a yell, he flipped Naruto off his back and on the ground. Naruto was still on his back when the man began to stomp him. Makoto immediately got up, kicked him behind his knee. He fell to the ground on one knee, but Makoto didn't let up. She wrapped her arms around his neck and with some help with her chakra she snapped his neck. He fell to the ground, dead. Both Naruto and Makoto were panting after the ordeal. She looked at Naruto and asked, "Are you okay? Can you walk?" Naruto nodded. Makoto outstretched her hand to help Naruto up, which he accepted. They started running again when Naruto started having small headaches. At first he didn't mind, but then he started having visions of memories that he didn't remember happening. That's when he heard a voice say, "Welcome back, boy." "Hive mind?" asked a surprised Naruto. "What was that, Naruto?" asked Makoto. "Oh, nothing," he said quickly. Makoto narrowed her eyes in suspicion. "Come Naruto, you could tell me." Naruto sighed and said, "Fine, I'll tell you when all this is over. Boy, I need you to cut yourself. I need you to summon an infector. Don't try to summon anything else because you can't unless you have already turned someone. And don't worry about them attacking the woman. I control the necromorphs." Naruto nodded his head and ran to a restroom. Makoto was surprised by this and followed him. Naruto arrived at his destination and waited for Makoto. She burst in the restroom and had an angry look on her face. "What the hell, Naruto? You can't just run off like that. Especially in a situation like this. What were you thinking? I need you to break that mirror." "What? Why? Just do it. It's important." Makoto was confused, but decided to just do it rather than argue. She broke the mirror with a hard kick. Naruto grabbed a large piece of it to cut his wrist. Makoto was horrified, was about to grab his hands when he stopped her with a stern look. Makoto was hesitant, but she didn't stop him. As the blood fell to the ground, Naruto's wrist had healed up. He then dropped on one knee and awaited instruction. "Okay, now channel your chakra into the blood and I will do the rest." Naruto did as he was told and watched as the blood started to expand. It then started to take the shape similar to that of a bat's appearance. That's when the blood started to solidify and it was an infector. Makoto was at first freaked out, but Naruto said, "It's alright. It won't hurt you." "What is that?" "It's one of many types of necromorphs. I'll explain everything when this is all over." The infector then screeched before running out of the restroom to do its job. At first they were just going to stay in there since it appeared safe, but then a woman ran in the restroom covered in blood. She looked at Naruto and Makoto before growling and lunging at Makoto. She pinned Makoto on the wall and was trying to grab her by the neck. Makoto struggled trying to keep her back, so she head-butted her. It made her stumble and sent her head turning, only to have her throat slit with a piece of glass by Naruto. The blood sprayed on Naruto, but he showed no emotion. Makoto was panting a little and picked up a piece of broken mirror. Naruto and Makoto looked at each other before nodding and running out the restroom, killing all who attacked them. It wasn't long before they found a safe place to settle. Naruto's Mindscape. As the Necromorphs appeared in the Mindscape, Kyuubi began to infuse some of her chakra into them. The results were as speculated. Ey stopped snarling and growling and looked at the hive mind. "My fellow Necromorphs, you have been granted some intelligence, and do with it as you please. When Naruto comes back to the Mindscape, I will make sure he provides this place with the suitable requirements for human living. I do that for 2 reasons. We'll soon be able to live in the outside world amongst humans, so you must be used to human behavior. I hope to find some entertainment to see you interact like humans." He dismissed them and they went about their business. With an enhanced slasher and enhanced puker. "So, did you see me with that guy? He was like, oh, when I bit him in the neck and stabbed him when he fell," said the slasher. "Peef, that was nothing. You should have seen me when I grabbed this guy, puked on his neck, and then ripped his head off. His friend was crying, so I puked on her. I know you heard the screams," said the puker. "Yeah, I did. You know it had this babe there and Bo, was she a beauty? You should have saw her. She had stabbed this guy repeatedly in the neck as he was bleeding to death on the floor. Sounds like a keeper. Well, I better go. I have to work on my target practice. Okay, bye, said the slasher as the puker waved off. He arrived at a stand saying, "Free target practice for pukers." A human then appeared. He looked scared and was about to run when the puker hit him in the legs. He fell down screaming when the puker walked up to him and puked all in his face, leaving a bloody mess. "Not shootin' there," said a female voice. This puker turned around to see a female puker. In his head, horror music began to play with screams of death in the background as he had fallen in love. "Hey there, babe. How about me and you have our own target practice?" They walked up to each other and began what the puker class considered foreplay. They began to puke all over each other. As you can see, I'm trying to add some humor to the fic. Only with the Necromorphs, however, everything else will be totally serious. I hope you like the chapter. Now I have something to confess. I just beat Dead Space 2, so I didn't know just how much of a pain the Ubermorph was. The Ubermorph is the Necromorph you encounter at Chapter 14, the indestructible Necromorph. And boy was it a pain in the ass, cheating bastards with their ambushes. Thankfully I had a shitload of stasis packs on me since I only used them when I was required to. Now you guys might be surprised that Neji is friends with Naruto and in an asylum. I did not intend that. I was thinking of people who went through things that would require them to be put in the asylum, and he popped up. I was going to include Anko too, but I couldn't think of a reason to have her placed in the asylum. Now for Makoto, I was going to have it where Itachi put her in the Tsukuyomi, but by then Naruto would have served the 3 years as stated in the summary. The Necromorphs will have the average intelligence of humans. There will be humor with the Necromorphs. Only because I feel like it. Review please. Chapter 7. Sorry for the wait, but I've just been in a lazy mood. I hope you enjoy the update. Both Naruto and Makoto were hiding for a while, questioning their tag along. He seemed normal enough and not like everyone else, which was surprising. He had brown hair with facial hair that covered his lower face. He wore a plain gray shirt that was open that exposed some of his chest and plain gray pants. He had bandages wrapped around his right hand stopping at his forearm and around his left or going from his shoulder to his elbow. He said he was a patient at the asylum, claimed it was because of stress-related problems and it was too much for him. He said his wife and son were visiting him when the outbreak started. He said that he had got split on from his family, but from what they say they knew he was insane as well. Flashback. Naruto and Makoto were running when they heard a scream. At first they were going to ignore it, but then they heard the crying of a baby, so naturally they ran towards the scream. When they got there they were both shocked to their very core. What they saw was a man standing over the forms of a woman and a baby. Both were brutally beaten and battered. He had a crazed look in his eyes, before turned into a look of a worried man. Alexis, Wearer and the baby. Damn monsters, must have been separated. He then noticed a woman and a child staring at him. Excuse me, but have you seen a woman carrying a baby? She's my wife and I'm really worried about her, can you help me find her? My name is Strauss, Nolan Strauss. End flashback. They decided to let him tag along. After all, they didn't know if he actually killed them. They could have been killed by the Necromorphs and he's just in extreme denial about their deaths. Mindscape. Ew. Those skin things are just creepy, said Kyubi, who was referring to the swarmers. That may be, but they are just as useful as any of the other Necromorphs, said the hive mind. So Marker, what's the deal with Strauss? Why is he acting normal? Asked the hive mind. He will be assisting in my vessel creation. He has the mind worthy of being a scientist of our dimension, which means he will be able to create another rock-based material suitable for the creation of a what-I scan he used to work for some named Orochimaru. Over time he became guilty of what he had done and fell in stress and guilt, leading to a Great Depression. He didn't tell anyone of his workings with Orochimaru, knowing what would happen if he was found out. Well, with that knowledge he should also be able to experiment with the Necromorphs like Mercer. I liked that guy. Of course you would. He was batshit crazy. I did like that Hunter, though. Maybe we could create another one. It wouldn't take long. It only took Mercer a matter of hours to create the hunter. Just imagine with the time we have what we could do. Ah, I like your way of thinking, Kyubi. Ya know what I just realized? With you having a human form and having unlimited chakra, why is it that you can't just apply the stasis seal? You think I would bother learning that human crap? All I need is my power and I can destroy anything. Yes, well, look at where that got you. Quote, at least I was sealed and not killed by a human with just weapons. He didn't kill me. I was killed by impact of the colony crashing into Aegis 7. Still, he got away and you died, which means he killed you. Enough. You two are bickering like children. And to say that both of you are two powerful beings. From what I'm seeing, it's quite shocking. That coming from a rock makes it void. Remember, I am the reason the colony was a piece until I was discovered and removed from the colony, said the marker, thus ending the conversation. The hive mind had nothing to say to that, he just grunted and remained silent. Reality. Naruto decided to start a conversation with Strauss, wanting to get to know him. So, Strauss, I've seen you around here. It doesn't seem like you hate me, and you don't look crazy, so why'd you turn me down when I tried to be friends? Asked Naruto. I don't know. I already told you the reason I was here was because of depression. I guess I just didn't want to deal with anyone at the time being. But now it appears I have no choice, replied Strauss. Care to explain why you were so depressed that you ended up in an asylum? Asked Makoto. I'd rather not talk about, he said hesitantly. Makoto nodded. She had to respect one's privacy. I must ask, however, why isn't those monsters trying to kill us? Asked Strauss, the question that had been bugging him ever since meeting the group. Oh, that, I command them. Don't worry, I'll explain everything later. But now we have to watch out for, he was interrupted when he crashed into someone. When he came to his senses, he looked up to see who it was. It was a female. She had brown hair tied in 2 ponytails. She had pale green eyes and tanned skin. She wore red tank top with a white tank top underneath. The red tank top was unbuttoned at the top a little, showing the white tank top. She had bandages on her left wrist and a brown leathered elbow band. She had brown leather pants with a light brown streak covered half of the outer leg on both legs. She also had on brown fingerless gloves. Naruto stepped back, cautious of the woman in case she was like the rest of the crazies. She had what appeared to be a pocket knife, a big one at that. She narrowed her eyes at the group, she knew was outnumbered. Naruto spoke up first. Who are you? Are you like the others? Asked Naruto. She scoffed at that and replied. Do I look like it? If I was, don't you think I would have been attacked you? There's a chance you would. Maybe you're just smarter than the rest, he replied. It was then she took notice of Nolan. Look at that guy, he looks more crazy than I do, she said, to which Strauss scowled at. Whatever. The name's Ellie Langford. You guys. Naruto Uzumaki, Makoto Uchiha, Nolan Strauss. Since I see you guys have formed a group, how about I join in? I wouldn't be able to survive for long on my own. The group glanced at each other, thinking should they trust her. Naruto looked up and said, all right, but if you try anything we won't hesitate to kill you. That goes for you too, Strauss, he said looking back at Nolan. Both Ellie and Strauss nodded their heads. In the Mindscape. So what's up with her? Why isn't she like the rest? Got something planned for her too? Asked Kyubi. No, I don't understand what's happening. She appears to be immune to my effects, much like that Lexine Murdoch. Who's that? She was one of the Aegis 7 survivors. She as completely immune to my dementia effects. It appears this Langford girl may be a problem, or this could prove to be useful. How is that? If the marker is correct, then we get Strauss to conduct court experiments on her blood and hope something useful comes out of it. You're right, but since she isn't under my influence, what makes you think she will help us? I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. Reality. So you're the cause of this outbreak. Then why don't I just kill you now and end it? Said Ellie. Naruto had just finished explaining the presence of the hive mind and the marker. He shook his head at Ellie. I didn't cause the outbreak, they did. Besides, how do you know if killing me would work? If it doesn't, the necromorphs will spread out until the entire world is nothing but necromorphs. How do we know you aren't trying to take over the world with the Necromorphs? Questioned Strauss. Because then it wouldn't be fun being the only human left. Besides, it's not like I'm gonna turn everyone into a Necromorphs. Only my enemies, those that I think deserve it, and allies that I don't like. They'll be dead, of course. I don't want you to think I'll just turn on my allies. With power like that, you do realize that you will have to get stronger. Say if someone gets past the Necromorphs into you, and they kill you because you thought you didn't need any training. Said Strauss. I may be young, but I'm not stupid. I know that I'll have to get stronger. I can't be weak while controlling these things. One more thing, said Ellie. Why aren't we going crazy like the rest? Her I could understand, but why not me and Strauss? Naruto was silent for a moment, listening to the marker's explanation. Well, for Strauss it's because the marker has use for you that could assist us. And as for you, Ellie, the marker said you are somehow immune to the effects. You wasn't supposed to tell her, you idiot. Shouted the marker. I'm immune. Which means if I wanted to, I could go to the Hokage and tell him, right? What can you offer me for my silence? Asked Ellie, who had a look of interest. And why did you tell me that anyway? It was kind of stupid to tell me I was immune. Well, I don't know what I can offer you, because I don't have anything yet. However, I can say that if you side with me, it'll be worth your while. And as for why I told you, we have to build trust, don't we? What are your intentions with these Necromorphs? Asked Strauss. Ya know that I think about it, I don't know. Taking over the world is kinda cliche to me. I was gonna create a village with these guys, but that's kinda stupid too. I mean, how am I going to get along with allies if they are too scared of being attacked? Maybe I'll just do what ninjas do with animals, do like a summoning. That sounds right for now. However, I doubt Hive Mind would agree. But I'm sure we'll work it out. I also want to know how is that I'm useful for the marker. Oh, that. It's not just the marker that's interested, it's the Hive Mind too. Let's just say that they know about the snaky things you did with someone and it is interested in what you could do for the Necromorphs in his vessel. Strauss's eyes widened at what Naruto just said. He knew what he meant by snaky, and he knew he had to help. Don't worry, I'm not trying to blackmail you. You choose on whether you want to help or not. Strauss was silent for a moment. Should he help this boy with these creatures that surely deserve to be destroyed? Just think of the wonders you could find, Strauss. I know. The scientist in you wants to find out. Damn, the boy was right. With a sigh, Strauss nodded his head. Naruto turned to Ellie and said, and what is your decision? I don't know. You still haven't told me what I can get out of this. How about you try to make a summoning contract with the almighty Hive Mind and then we'll see. The Necromorphs could be useful. Naruto nodded his head, deciding he'll talk with the Hive Mind on that. How did you happen to be here anyway? I was visiting a friend of mine named Caleb who worked here. He's dead, she said with a look of sorrow. I'm sorry, said Makoto. Nah, it's okay. He then turned to Makoto. And your decision? I'll side with you, but only because we're friends. Great. Now let's go and hope that we don't encounter any crazies. In the Mindscape. How dare she mock me? Me, the Hive Mind. She is lucky I don't get a puker for her, then we'll see who's talking. Calm yourself, Hive Mind. It would seem that Naruto is rethinking his uses for your Necromorphs, Hive Mind. That is good, now we don't have to worry about the outbreak spreading across the entire world. I guess I could deal with it. Maybe he's right, I would eventually get bored without killing any humans. So stopping the reproduction cycle of the humans wouldn't be a good idea. Well, at least you can experience the killing through your Necromorphs. I'm stuck in here watching. This is bullshit. Maybe there is a way around that problem. How so? I don't know yet, but I'm sure I'll find out over time. Omake. We find ourselves at a bar filled with Necromorphs. There was a slasher trying to hit on a spitter. So how about you and me go to my place, and you'll be spitting up more than just acid. Dude, move it, said a voice behind him. He looked to see it was Puker. Make me. The Puker grabbed him and threw him to the ground. They were both fighting on the ground when the manager of the bar came. Stop this shit right now before I clear the whole bar out. He screamed. Oh yeah, and what, army? Said both of the stunned Necromorphs. They looked up to see an exploder talking to them. "Now I expect both of you to pay for the damages, right?" he said, raising his arm, threatening to slam it into the ground. Of course, said both of the terrified necromorphs. "Good, now I don't want to hear any more of this oh shit," he exclaimed as he slipped on a banana pill, killing everyone in the bar. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.